morning to our Monday morning coffee. I am Dr. Charles Dent, and I want to invite you to share your Monday mornings with me. Each week, we will share secrets to successful living and to help you maximize your productivity and design the life that God created and purposed for you to live. Now, I hope there's a couple of things I want you to do. Number one, I would like for you to like our video. If you like it, please let us know. The second thing is I want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And the third thing I want you to do is to share it with someone. Because I believe as you share these principles, it's going to bring success in a lot of people's lives. Now, I can't transfer you my experience, but I can transfer you the principle to be successful. Whether you're a parent, whether you're a coach, whether you're a student, we all need principles that's going to help us be successful. It doesn't matter what your color your skin is, doesn't matter your gender. What we have to do is teach people that these principles are necessary. They are foundational things you got to have in your life in order to produce the life you want. Let's get started with our lesson today. So the number one thing we've been talking about in the last couple of weeks is this, that you have to take responsibility for your life. Now, that's take 100% responsibility for your life. Stop looking for 50-50. It's not half and half. It's not 99. It's 100% responsibility for your life. You have to do that. You have to own up that I'm responsible for the decisions I make, for the choices I make. I'm responsible for that. Now, here's something that you can always look at as you take responsibility for your life. There's no simple answer to everything. Some things are simple, but there's no simple answer to everything. I mean, sometimes we're looking for the simple things to happen, but it's just not going to happen. Because here's the key thing we do at times. We got to understand there is a simple rule that we need to live by, and that is you take responsibility for your life. Simple rule. You got to do two things in this. You got to create it or you allow it. See, some things you created yourself. Like, for example, you created because you procrastinate, you put it off, and you created a situation that's happening in your life, or you allow it. You know, look at things around you, say, how is it that you allowed this to take place in your life? Because you allowed it or you created it. You didn't finish that project. You didn't finish school like you wanted to. You created it or you allowed it. And see, this is something that we got to get beyond, because there are many times we play the victim mentality. Like I'm the victim of every circumstance, a situation happened in my life. No, you created some things in your own, or you allowed it to happen in your life, and then you try to become the victim of it. No, if you look around you and ask yourself this question, is this the results I want? If these are the results I want, because you cannot argue with results. Results just don't lie. So you look around and say, hey, is this what I'm looking for? And I wanted you to see this, that as you take 100% responsibility for your life, you can start creating the life you want. No blame, no victim mentality, no just allowing it to just happen. No, you purposely saying, I'm going to get up every morning, I'm going to make a choice that I'm going to be successful today. All right, so that's the first thing you got to understand. That is a number one rule. The second rule is you got to become better at decision making. You got to know what type of decisions I'm going to make today in order to get the outcomes that I want. Life is about choices, about decision making. If you're a person that's constantly you compromise your decision, you're easily manipulated by other people or circumstances. You have to get to a place that you make up your mind. I'm going with this, I'm sticking with it. Because if you start compromising, here's the bottom line. Anybody can get you to move away from your goals. You got to make up your mind. You got to make your mind, I am making the decision today that I am going to be successful. I'm going to walk through this. I'm going to walk it out of my life, and I'm going to do this. All right? So you got to make decisions. Now I want to show you this thing. By making a decision, the number one you have to do is get control of your thinking. If you don't get control of what you're processing in your mind, you're not going to be successful. As you think in your heart, so as you become what you think about. So you got to get control of your thoughts. The second thing is you need to flush out negativity. I'm telling you, it's the worst thing you can do is be negative. Negative about situations, negative about people, negative about circumstances, because a person who's negative, you're always judging something. And that's what you're doing. You're judging it, and it's bringing negativity in your life. So you gotta get a mindset. I'm gonna flush out this negative thinking. Because if I continue to think negative, I'll attract negative things around me. I was telling my son, we were talking about Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar said positive thinking is better than negative thinking. And I remember people say, well, Zig, how is it that you leave away and you have positive thinking? He said, listen, you can come to a conference and hear positive thinking all day long. But if you don't take the material and do something with it, you go back into your negative thinking. You got to flush out negative thinking. You got to just be conscious of it and say, I'm going to flush it out. Why? Because I'm taking responsibility for my life. The third thing you have to do in this is this, and I got to help you with this. You got to change how you see things. You got to change your thinking. You got to flush out negative thinking, but you got to change how you see things. Now, I remember one person said this. He said, put a stamp, a 10 on everything. Stamp it with a 10. Don't give it a 5, don't give it a 7, stamp it with a 10. And when you have a 10 mentality, that you stamp everything, you see things as in a positive sense, you see things, you see good coming out of bad situations, you know the hand of God is in things, and so you start what? You change your perspective and how you see it. Because perspective is everything. Remember what people say, first impression? No, it's first perspective. You give people your first perspective of how you see things. So now I'm changing how I see it. I mean, perfect example. If I go play golf, man, I hit a bad shot. And I have a tendency to hit bad shots. But if I continue to dwell on the bad shot, guess what happens? My perspective is going to change. That negativity is going to come in my life. Now I'm going to start having that negative self-talk. Because that's what negative, flushing it out. I got to get rid of the negative self-talk. Now I start talking about myself, man, I can never get this. I need this, need this. Instead, I don't know how to change it at the moment. I got to change that in the moment. I got to change how I see it. And here's the other thing. The fourth thing is this. You got to stop waiting on someone else to do it for you. You got to stop waiting on somebody else to do this for you. You got to stop waiting for the right time, the right relationship, the right job, the right career choice. You got to stop waiting on that, because I'm telling you, you can make things happen. Either you got to create it or you let things just happen. You got to get a mindset that, hey, I'm going to stop waiting on this to happen. I'm going to make it happen in my life. I'm going to make this happen today. You got it? You got it. I want you to get this. And the sixth thing is this. Be committed. Be committed to changing things in your life that you know that you need to change. Be committed, because nothing is going to change without your commitment. You got to be committed to say, hey, I'm going to change how I think. I'm going to change how I see things. I'm going to flush out the negativity in my life. You have to be committed to doing this. You have to stop waiting on others. You have to have a level of commitment in your decision-making process. You got to say, hey, I'm being committed to this. I made up my mind. I'm going to do Monday morning coffees with Dr. Charles Dent. I made up my mind that I'm going to do this week. Guess what happened? I'm committed to it. I am committed. I'm committed to building a better relationship with my wife, with my children, on my job. I'm going to build a better person than I am. I'm committed to do this, because you cannot do any of this without commitment. I don't care how many times you listen to a video. I don't care how many conferences you go to. I don't care how many workshops you attend. If you're not committed, you're just wasting time. And the valuable commodity that we have is time. And we're wasting time because we're not committed. We could say I could pick up all these books in my office and never be committed to read them. I just got good books on my shelf. Got to be committed to it. If you're not committed, ask yourself why, or what is hindering me from being committed? Or how is it that I have allowed these other things to become more important to me, that these distractions are more valuable to me than being committed to my goals this week? Those are some things you got to process. You got to really process. This is in your decision making. The third thing I want to give you overall is this. Look for feedback. And I want you to understand that sometimes the most dangerous thing that we don't like is feedback. Sometimes we don't like it because we have a sense of fear. We fear we're going to be rejected. People are going to look at us differently. But I'm going to tell you something that's more valuable. If you never get any feedback from anybody, you see feedback all around you. If you're lazy, your house is dirty, feedback. That tells you something. That's the feedback that comes from your life. If you have no friends in your life or nobody want to be around you, that's feedback. That tells you the type of person you are. If you're attracting certain men in your life or certain women in your life, that's feedback. Whether you listen to them or hear them or not, you're getting feedback. If your money is acting funny and your change is going strange or has taken a vacation on you, that's feedback. You're spending too much, you're exhausting more. Those are feedbacks that are naturally coming into your life to show you where you are. Your health, you're not exercising, you're not eating right, feedback comes back. Because why? We're on these pills and everything. That is feedback that's coming in our life. If you're not taking responsibility for your life, that's feedback. You're not being successful in your job, you're not finishing things. Those are the feedbacks that are constantly coming in your life. So here's what I want you to do. Those feedback, here's the number one thing I want you to do is pay attention to them. I want you to get to a place that you pay attention to the uncommon feedbacks that you're getting in your life, but they're common. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Pay attention to the details. The feedback, I get up out the bed late all the time. That's feedback. I'm not accomplishing what I want to accomplish. You have to get to a place that you can accept the feedback. And then sometimes the best feedback is the people around you, who can share with you some things or share some blind spots that you may have. That we all have these blind spots, that sometimes we need the feedback from other people to help us to become better in this. I'm telling you, this is why we can be successful in life. We can be very successful if we do these three things today. Number one, take responsibility. Number two, decision making. Make a decision. Number three, feedback. Hey, this is Dr. Charles Dent with our Monday morning coffee. Be blessed today.